Hi guys. Today's MMA workout will be focusing on straight kicks. Not only front kicks, but any kind of MMA legal and sense-making straight kicks. Um, Maybe I'll leave the back kick out of the picture for now, but let's see how it goes. As we work with kicks, I will do a little warm up for the hips first and just some swings with the legs and little leg lifts. And we start like from a normal stance, pulling the knee diagonally to the elbow. Front knee, back elbow, and vice versa. Front knee, back elbow, just like that. Yeah. Knees touch elbow. Switch stance, same procedure. Knees touch elbow. Okay. Now we swing the back leg to the front arm. Don't swing it with full momentum, but just easily swing it up. Swing the leg. Shin touches the hand. If you're not that mobile, leave the hand down here. Just make a slight swinging movement. Just the whole leg. No kicking motion yet. Diagonally to the hand. And the other stance. Swing the leg up to your hand. Okay. Switch back. The back leg makes a big circle here. Also, don't swing too hard. We're still warming up. Just swinging it easily around. And the other one. Okay, so let's start with the mechanics of the front kicks. The front kick, if delivered with the balls of the big toe, the ball of the big toe, or delivered with the heel, has two different variations. You can do both with a strong thrust from the hip. What you do is you raise your knee, you still keep the hip back, and then with the kick, you thrust with the hip. You can use the ball of the foot. That gives you a certain advantage in reach, but also it involves the whole foot bones and muscle structure, which is definitely softer than the heel. So I wouldn't say it's right and wrong, this one and that one, but situational. Maybe you prefer one over the other. If you use the heel to kick, make sure that you pull your foot to your body as hard as you can, so that really only the heel hits and not the whole sole of the foot. That makes such a big surface that the kick is not really effective. So what we do is we raise the knee here, and deliberately keep the hip back. Still the hip is here. And then when we extend the lower, the calf, the lower the thigh, Then we thrust from the hip. 1, 2. 1, 2. Frontal, here, 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 here. The most common mistake here is that people don't thrust the hip forward, but lean the upper body back. I'll do it wrong now. No, wrong, wrong, wrong. Here. When you have a training partner or a pad or a heavy bag or something, this can easily be identified because you will get knocked back from your own kick. If you do it correctly, you knock back your opponent or the sandbag and will not be knocked back yourself. So, thrust from the hip. Once more wrong again. Don't use your upper body here, but thrust from your hip. From the side, you should be able to see that my shoulders and my head almost stay in position. And I'm really only thrusting the hip in. Switching sides here. Yeah. We're thrusting forward from the hip. The front kick, 90% of the time, will be at body level. The front kick to the face got famous by some high-level MMA fights, but it's really, really hard to deliver. It's really hard because the head is moving really quickly and you have to hit under the chin, which is really, really a very, very hard thing to do timing-wise. So mostly you will use this to the body. In MMA, there's also the possibility to use the thrusting front kick to the thigh of your opponent. The inner thigh of the back leg makes total sense here. Same thing. It will have an impact on your opponent's ability to approach you, to come close, to come in. So if you want to fight from distance and you're evading your opponent, do kicks like this. Okay, again, technique, here, thrust. Here, thrust. For technical reasons, I'm now fully retracting the leg and putting it back in the same stance. If you thrust the kick really, really hard, you might be forced to put the foot in front and switch the stance. What you should never do is run after your leg. Like you thrust and your leg pulls you forward. That's an invitation for anyone with grappling experience to grab the leg, get a hold of it, and work his way from a single leg or something like that. So always immediately pull the lower thigh back. Here. Here. Yeah. Never kick and drop the leg. If you thrust hard, from pulling back, you might be forced to drop it and to switch stance. But never, never push yourself out of balance. Here, there. Or for training, here. Okay, that said, of course, I can also front kick with my front leg. Most of the time, this kick is used wrong because people will put this, the back leg, under their center of gravity in order to kick. And from a certain level, this is like telling your opponent, I will kick with my front leg. Please, guys. The front kick with the front leg is from punching distance. Meaning, for example, even if I'm on my way forward, pressuring my opponent, I can use my, without moving the back leg, I can use my front kick. It's the same range as my punches. Also, I can do it when I'm retreating like this. When you retreat here and you still put the leg here, you're even limiting your escape potential, your movability. So let's practice that kick. As you might know, I prefer the stance on the ball of the foot, not with the heel down in the L position, but it doesn't really make a big difference. From this position, I kick like this. From this position, also. I would not recommend to turn the foot and put it on the ground and turn it back, as it costs time. Simply time that's wasted. So, from here, first I pull my leg up, then I thrust from the hip. The hip thrust has not as much range of motion as the back one, and that's why this kick is not as effective, but still can be a decent thrust. I hope you can see that I'm still thrusting from the hip. Also, watch that I'm really focused on retracting my foot as quickly as possible. Thrust back and then down. Not thrust and drop. Makes you so vulnerable. Thrust back, down. Thrust back, down. Thrust. All right? So let's practice a little. What we do is we do the back kick here, put the leg on the ground, do the front kick. Show it again. Back kick, front kick. 2 thrusts from the hip. Back kick, front kick. Back kick, front kick. And again, back kick, front kick. Back, front. Back, hip thrust, front. Yeah? Let's switch stances. Back, front. Back, front. Back, front. You can clearly see that I'm used to have the traditional stance, not that one, and it's totally fine that the kicks are not of the same quality as in the other stance. If they were, I'm impressed. But if not, they have to be technically rounded. That's important. Back, front. I think the basic criteria are met here. Back, front. Okay. So, next type of front kick is the so-called oblique kick. The oblique kick is mostly done to your opponent's thigh. It's kind of a stomp. Same as the low kick, it wants to hack down on the upper thigh. When I stand here and the low kick hits here, the stomp hits here, right on the over the kneecap. I use my back leg, same as with the front kick here, only that I turn my toes out and then I stomp to the thigh of my opponent. I can also use that stomping kick to the body. That's very good to distract your opponent and also to push him away, to keep your distance, because as soon as he realizes you're turning the knee and the toes to the outside, he will think that you're hitting for the thigh, that you're aiming for the thigh. And if you hit to the body then, that's very nice to mix it up. All right, so, but to the thigh now. Here, stomp. And here, stomp. Again, like with the front kick we just did, most of the momentum of the energy comes from here. This time, I'm not pushing forward, I'm slightly dropping my weight. Stomp. A good oblique kick totally depends on a slight lowering of the center of gravity. Stomp. And stomp. From here, and stomp. Without that push, that dropping in that knee, the kick is a distraction but has no potential damage. If it's only distracting the opponent, he will soon realize he doesn't need to fear that kick, and you won't get the results you want. That either stabilizes the leg in order to sustain, to maintain a position and to stay close, or that he retracts the knee because it hurts. So switch stances and stomp, stomp. There's another kick that we can use that's going to the thighs, and this is the side kick. Same rules apply. This kick comes from up here and goes down. This one comes from up here and goes down either. It's a little more difficult because in order to have a decent reach with that kick, you need to slide in. So not go here and then kick there, but to slide in. Only after I raised my leg here, I'm sliding in with my back leg. So I'm not showing it too early. I'm not losing any time. If I don't do this, I still need that amount of time to do the kick. All I do is when I raise the leg, I slide in. All right? It's a little difficult if you're not experienced with that, but it's as surprising as it gets. Also, when you have a more frontal stance and you switch for such a kick, you're really mixing things up. And you put yourself in a position where you can do interesting, weird stuff that others will not expect. And that not only are they not so easy to counter, but they also make your opponent think, what comes next? I can't really figure this guy out, you know? So, again, from here, yeah? This leg is only moving after I pull this one up. Just the same time when I'm kicking, here. Let's switch stances. That was too early, for example. Again, I'm losing it. That was better. Nope. Better. Okay. With all these techniques have the same principle. I'm pushing my hip, my center of gravity, straight forward and trying to get all the energy to the opponent's thigh, body, even chin, maybe. Yeah? What they all have in common is that we're not rotating, but we're moving the whole body. As we do this, we need to make sure that we stay balanced. When I'm here and I do this, I still want to control my balance. So if he retracts, for example, I'm not supposed to drop and to be vulnerable, to be stuck there. Yeah? Be in control, be in balance. With the back leg also, bam, here, be in balance. Here, balance. Really, really important. As we are with that side kicking motion already, we can also do the classical side kick, which is a slide-in motion also. I pull my knee to my diagonal elbow and then kick it out. I'm standing, frontal, kick it out. I'll show you from the side. I pull my knee to the diagonal elbow and kick. Here and kick. Again, my back leg is only starting to move when I already raise my leg here. Yes? So I hope you understand the mechanics of this. And of course, especially leg kicks should never be used singularly. If you're just standing there and do this kick and that kick and this kick, they're all best if they're combined with other action. Maybe more kicks, but even better, fists. So the biggest problem here is the back kick, the front kick with the back leg. The range of the front kick with the back leg is so huge that I cannot reach with my punches first. Makes no sense. So I either do this after I made my opponent retreat, and then I use the kick then, for example, to push him into the cage or to hit him while he's covering up his head or something. For example, if I'm advancing and hitting to the head and he's retreating, lifting his arms, then I can try to finish it with a straight forward kick from the back leg. Yeah? So what we do now is we go 1, 2, as you know from the other videos. Yeah? 1, 2, stepping forward, and assuming that my opponent is retreating and staying out of my distance, I follow up with the front kick. Here. I'll do it slower. Forward, follow, and then with the same leg that I just moved, I kick and I put it back. Of course, the side step also applies here, but I don't want to make it too difficult. Yeah? If I'm going forward, I can also move outside with the leg. The session from last week, from Wednesday last week, where we were talking about rails and moving sideways. Yeah? Very important that you can do this after a kick, of course. Put the leg out here, move to the side, make your opponent angle. All right? But now, just 1, 2, kick. 1, 2, kick. Let's switch stances. 1, 2, kick. For training purposes, at the moment, always try to rebalance yourself in the same stance. Yes. The front kick with the front leg is very good to answer to pressure. If my opponent attacks me, pressures me, and makes me move backwards slowly, then it's best done together with a jab. So what we do now is we step back. When we pull the leg in here, then we jab, and then we kick. So back, move, yeah, back, back, back. Yeah? As soon as we are forced to go back, we jab. We don't want him to run through us like a ram. We want to stop him. Here. Then front kick. Here. Here, out. Always remember, thrust from the hip. We want to stop our opponent right in his tracks, or her. Yeah? All right. The oblique kick already has the same distance as our punches. So it totally makes sense, for example, to go from a jab to the oblique kick. The hip movements are really, really good. If I'm jabbing, I'm already recoiling this side of my body, and so I can thrust from here really well. So what I do is simply jab, recoil, go for the kick. Yes, I'm punching, recoiling, here. Okay. This sliding side kick, for example, offers you the opportunity to use back fists, hammer fists, for example, here, because you're already standing sideways to your opponent. But we want to go back to traditional techniques and punch. Let's assume my opponent already has felt some of my kicks to his thighs. Here, here. I was working his thighs really good. So he's a little wary. He says like, oh no, I'm starting to slow down because he hits my thighs all the time. So if I do this, he retreats. He just slides out. And we want to show dominance. We want to show that the ring is ours, and we follow it up by a straight right hand or straight backhand, depending on your preferred stance. Watch that I'm really, really putting a lot of power in this hand. From here, I drop my leg, I'm still opened, I'm still recoiled with the hip here, and then I fully thrust in. I'm not falling on this leg. Watch closely. I totally control this leg. Of course, after that thrusting right hand, depending on the reaction of my opponent, we're in a really, really good position for a shot. Especially as he lost a lot of space inside the ring, we might just shoot him into the fence. It's a very, very good distance closer. Let's switch sides. No, that was too bad. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah? Again. Supposed to be fixed there. All right. Yeah. With the side kick here, going to the body, we're closing most of all other options. The thing, why would I do this? Because it's so damn powerful. If we do this kick and we even just hit his defense, we will knock him back. Just imagine he's aggressive, he's coming towards us, and we can hit him. Very nice, very nice. A vicious kick to the body. But let's just assume what we do is we're in charge, we're pressuring him here, and then we think, okay, he's all the time defending, he doesn't want to give space, and we just kick him back. So we just kick him back. Yeah, all right, so same here. Nope, I'm gonna do it wrong all the time. That's a relic of my karate times when I was supposed to step over from the back, which I would not do anymore if it wasn't so deep in my motoric system. So, better. And the mic again. Okay, so I give you a short break, also for myself. And as we still have time, I'll talk about my favorite straight kick, which is the back kick. So the back kick means that I'm turning around my back, kicking. You have to excuse due to my broken discs in the spine of my neck, I can't turn my head enough. I'm supposed, after turning here, I'm supposed to have both eyes facing the opponent, not only one eye. That's just due to my limited mobility in the neck. It's not supposed to be like that. But more important, when I want to apply the back kick, the longer version, but also the easier, has 3 steps. The first step is I'm just stepping over with my foot. Watch that I'm still trying to face forward. I'm still looking this way. Now, I have only the ball of my foot, yeah, on the ground. And when I start turning, I still want to face my opponent as long as possible, longer than I even can. If I lose him out of sight, I'm accelerating and trying to find him as soon as possible again. Yeah. And only then, when I lock my eyes on him again, only then I start kicking. And I start kicking when I stop turning. That's the number one mistake people do, is they keep turning while they're kicking. There's one reason that it's called a back kick, and it's because you kick backwards and not sideways. It's not a side kick. It's not a turning side kick, nothing. Yeah? It's a back kick. That means I turn my back on you, here, and then I kick. There are 2 ways to solve the kick after it hit or not. One is to spool it back, here, be in the original position again. The other is to turn it this way and fulfill the 360. If your back kick doesn't hit, there's 2 possibilities, but let's assume you have done a good job, and if the back kick doesn't hit, then your opponent is not close enough to close in before you're back in a fighting stance. The second reason would be that you kick next beneath him, and that's wrong. That will end bad. So it's a really, really complicated kick. I will do it slowly. 3 stages. Stage 1, here. My balance is on the back leg. Stage 1. I'm turning my hip, my legs, but not my upper body. Stage 2. And now I'm turning my upper body here, looking back again. As I said, limited mobility here. I still have half my weight, my body weight here. And this leg gives the main momentum for the good hard kick as I push from here. Let's do it slowly. Yes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Those 3 stages are woven into each other. You fluently go through the stages, but don't mix them up. I'll show it quick ones. Yeah. All right. There's an advanced version of that kick that doesn't involve this step anymore. I'm doing, in the basic version, you do this step in order to have the line of fire, the extension of the leg to the opponent, cleared. But that, of course, takes time. You might mix this up, for example, with doing a left hook. And you turn here, and you can do this, for example. You can also just step over and back up from here and then. Or go for back fist and everything that moves that leg and makes your opponent think, okay, he's moving that leg, but it doesn't have to mean anything. In the advanced version, I'm keeping my leg here. I'm starting with phase 2. But now, my whole axis is tilting while I'm turning. So I can't demonstrate it that slow. I'm just turning here. Now you see that my body axis is tilted. And I have to rebalance while I kick. The advantage is it's really fast. Okay? So, optional. Let's try the advanced version. From here, I'm just turning, lowering my center of gravity, and pushing from here to the opponent, to the kick. All right? Here, here, kick. Doing fast one more. All right? Don't mix it up with a spinning back kick. Totally different mechanics. Yes, the back kick. Let's do the basic version again. Step over, turn, face your opponent, kick. Step over, turn, face the opponent, kick. Right? Last but not least, back kick with the leg, with the front leg. Yeah. What I'm doing is, for example, I'm low kicking, or I'm sweeping. I'm showing my opponent, I'm sweeping, I'm kicking, and from that position, from the low kick here, if I put my leg down here, I can also turn, face my opponent, and kick. Here. Yeah. I'm really kicking the low kick. I'm not faking. I'm not like, I'm kicking the low kick. If I hit with the low kick, okay, I will not do the back kick because I will be stopped in my tracks here. But let's assume he pulls his leg out. Here, I come to this position. Watch the opponent kick. I'll do it quickly. All right? Slowly again. Here, my low kick comes. I put my leg on the ground here. I'm still facing to my opponent. Now turning the leg, turning the head, and kicking the back kick. Here, switch, and kick. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I could challenge even the more advanced viewers. And for those who are still beginners, stick to the kicks, to the thighs and the body. Yes, and even just stick to the oblique and the front kick with the front leg. Those are the most important straight kicks you will have. They are quite safe. They're not exposing you. If you do them slightly wrong, it's still fine. You're not going to lose balance so easy. So practice those first and mix them up with the timing of your hands, and you will have a great addition to your fist fight. Yes, as I say most of the time now, I'll say it again, stay the fuck home. It's necessary, and I think I will stop saying that soon. But what can I say? I really, really miss you guys. In the meantime, keep practicing. The whole workout is available on YouTube, and more tomorrow. No touch screen.